Pony Guard. By the Clown Prince of Crime. Prologue, Kiara in Trouble. In the Pride Lands. Quite a beautiful morning here in the Pride Lands, isn't it, Nala? Simba asked. Indeed it is, Simba, said Nala. And a very relaxing morning as well. I can watch the entire landscape all morning. The king and queen sat together on Pride Rock as they beheld the sun rise up in the sky. Moments later, they noticed many animals of the Pride Lands adjusting themselves under the bright sun and starting their new day with their usual routine. The rulers smiled together as they beheld all their subjects well and healthy. Seeing our subjects being happy just brought me flashbacks, said Simba as he had some thoughts in mind. Really? What are they? Nala asked. Remember that time when we defeated Scar and brought peace and harmony back to the Pride Lands by the time I ascended to the throne? Simba recalled. Yes. Nala confirmed. That was the intense and best moment I ever had. It brought joy in my heart to see our friends happy again and for me to finally walk in my father's paw prints. It's just something I will never forget. Simba smiled. Neither will I, dear, said Nala. I know that both Kian and Kiara will follow your paw prints once the time comes for them to rule. I know they will, said Simba. Good morning, Mom. Good morning, Dad, their daughter said, walking in. Good morning, Kiara, Simba greeted. Did you sleep well last night? Yep. It was so good seeing the full moon shining bright last night, she said. Although it did get a bit cold last night. Chuckles, I understand that. Glad you rested well, dear, Nala chuckled. Are you ready for our hunting practice today? Yep. I'm ready like how I was yesterday, said Kiara. Fantastic, smiled Simba. I hope everything goes well with your hunting practice today, Kiara. Thanks, Dad, Kiara said before running to him to give him a hug. I'll see you and Kian later. Once they said their farewell, Nala and Kiara left Pride Rock and departed to the fields elsewhere in the Pride Lands. However, they were not the only ones awake this early in the morning. The vultures spied on them from a dead tree and observed the Queen Lioness and the Princess Cub leave their home to commence their planned morning activity. Well, this will certainly give us an advantage. Queen Nala and their little daughter going on a hunting practice? How convenient, said the leader. Indeed. We should get that cub and bring her to Scar, one of them suggested. I think we should report to him first before we take action, another one suggested. What should we do, Mzingo? A fourth vulture asked. I think it would be wise to inform Scar of this golden opportunity, replied Mzingo. Once we tell him, he will have a great plan for us all. Those in favor, say aye. Aye, they all agreed. Those who oppose, he called again. None, they said. It is settled then. Come on, follow me. Mzingo ordered, flying to the sky. His parliament of vultures followed him back to the outside boundaries of the Pride Lands called the Outlands. In the Outlands, they arrived at a certain volcano under a dark cloud. They flew inside the volcano and settled on the rocky platforms above a pool of lava. There, a hissing snake saw them descend from the sky and land above him. Ah, it appears that you brought some good news for us, he asked. Indeed, Ushari, replied Mzingo. We believe it's something you and Scar would find interesting to hear. Suddenly, the pool of lava bubbled and slightly exploded with a ray of fire. The head of a fiery lion revealed himself with his signature evil smirk. Oh yes, please do tell, Mzingo. I've been waiting for some good news, he said. The queen herself is out in the Pride Lands with Kiara for some hunting practice. That can give us an opportunity to strike at them while they are alone and vulnerable. Mzingo reported. Scar thought about the information given until he evilly laughed. His laugh startled some of the vultures except Mzingo and Ushari. This is perfect. Just perfect. I have a plan that will both bring Simba down from the throne and earn me all of the Pride lands, he exclaimed. His followers were immediately intrigued as they listened. What's the plan, Scar? Ushari asked. Kiara will be our main target. Tell Janja and his clan to capture her, plus, tell them to not allow Nala to stop them from reaching unto their precious little child. I have something in store for her as well as the Lion Guard. Scar planned, maliciously chuckling. It will be done, Scar, complied the serpent, evilly smiling. I will inform him immediately. Ushari slithered away to carry out his command. Scar then faced the parliament of vultures. As for you and your vultures, Mzingo, you will provide cover for Janja and his hyena clan to prevent any failure from happening. I need her alive, Scar growled. As you wish, Scar. Mzingo willingly obeyed. They flew out of the volcano to carry out his order as well. The evil lion once again malevolently smirked. Very soon, Simba, everything you ever loved and cherished will be destroyed before your eyes, Scar said. And I will make you watch, to see your failure as a king. Ha 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 ha. Later. Nala and Kiara were together in the fields in hunter mode. Way ahead of them were antelope. The moment you see your prey in a distance, you make sure you become quiet and stealthy as possible, Nala whispered to her daughter. You don't want to make even a tiny noise, otherwise, they will run away from you. Remain quiet as possible, got it, said Kiara. Wait for the right opportunity to strike, Nala continued. Once they are unaware of your presence, that's when you make your surprise and catch your prey. Okay. Got it, Mom, replied Kiara. There they are. They laid their eyes on the antelope who were eating the grass in peace. Good. Patience is key, Kiara, Nala lectured. Now, on the count of 3, we pounce on them. 1, 2, the antelope suddenly screeched in terror and ran for their lives. What? Hey. What's going on? We didn't do anything yet. Kiara said, chasing after them. Kiara, wait, called Nala. Then she heard wild cackling to her left. She looked at that direction to discover to her horror the hyenas scaring off the antelope and chasing her own daughter. Oh, no, the hyenas, she cried. She then followed pursuit. Ha 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 ha. It's working, boys. That little princess is ours now. Janja bragged. Yeah. She isn't gonna get away this time. Chung added. So will we eat her once we catch her? Or? Cheesy asked. No, Furbrain. We capture her and bring her to Scar. He's got a plan for her that will help us finally win. Janja said. Chung and Cheesa said in unison. Hey, those antelope look so delicious. I'm gonna eat one. Chung said, licking his chops. Yeah, me too. I'm hungry. Cheesy added. Focus on the task, Furbrains. We will bring her to the boss and then we will have our lunch. Janja reminded. Now, come on. Kiara tried to catch a single antelope, but they were a little too fast for her. They all successfully ran off to someplace else while Kiara breathed to catch some fresh air. Come on. I almost caught one. But we're about to catch you. Janja yelled. The cub turned her face in surprise to see the hyenas run to her and surround her while crazily cackling. You got nowhere to go, little princess. Janja? What are you doing here? Get away. Kiara demanded, but the hyenas kept getting closer to her with wide grins. Leave her alone. Nala cried, running to them while roaring. The hyenas looked back to see her coming to them. She smacked Chung and Cheesy away before glaring at Janja. Nala. I wasn't expecting to, see you here. Janja sheepishly smiled. I mean no harm at all. Leave her alone now, Janja. I will not ask you the third time. Nala growled. Suddenly, Mzingo and his vultures swooped down and pecked at Nala. Oh, no you don't. The prize is ours for the taking, he cried. Ha! Can't stop us this time, Nala. She's ours now. Janja smirked. Chung grabbed Kiara and ran away along with Cheesy and Janja. They manically laughed once more as they finally fulfilled their mission. Once he saw they were gone with Kiara, he nodded to his vultures. They flew up in the sky and escaped the area. Nala looked around to see her daughter already gone and the villains getting away with her. Fear took a hold of her as well as sadness. No. Kiara. I have to tell this to Simba and Kayan. Let me go, Janja. Whatever it is you're planning, I want no part of it. Kiara quickly objected. Ha ha ha, oh no, you misunderstand, smirked Janja. I'm not the one who is doing all the planning. It is someone else whom I'm sure you have heard of before. They soon reached to the outlands and to the volcano. The moment she set her eyes on it, bad memories came to mind as she remembered being at that place. Oh no, not this place again. I'm having a bad feeling about this, she thought. They entered through the volcano where they see Ushari. Chung then set Kiara down as they awaited a certain someone to appear before them in a pool of lava. So where is this, someone you mentioned? I don't see him here. Kiara said, arching an eyebrow. Don't worry, princess, hissed Ushari. He is right here. On cue, the pool of lava burst with the same fiery ray. Scar appeared while laughing wickedly. Who are you? Kiara demanded. It is I. Scar, he introduced himself. As soon as he mentioned his own name, Kiara stood back in shocking and crippling fear. Never in her life did she ever thought of seeing Scar, the most dangerous creature the whole kingdom faced, with her own eyes. No, it can't be. Scar. This is really you? Kiara asked in shocking horror. Ha ha. Yes, indeed. Never thought you would see me, have you? Ha 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 ha. Scar taunted. No. How are you alive? What do you want from me? Kiara demanded. At that moment, Scar sent fire lasers from his eyes to create a fiery portal. Push her in, he commanded. Seized by fear, she made an attempt to run, but Janja pumped her into the portal before it closed with the sound of her screams. In she goes. Janja said. What was that thing? Did that piece of fire finish her off? No, Janja, it did not, Scar frowned. Kiara was sent through a portal to a world she has never been before. There, I have another plan that will make her very useful. Ha 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 ha. Chapter 1, A Different Place. The fiery portal opened up in the middle of a grassland, it dropped off Kiara there before it closed back. Thus, the cub was left stranded in the middle of nowhere. Huh? Where am I? What's going on? She asked, looking back and forth. She saw herself in a certain grassland far from the hills. She didn't see any form of life anywhere in that area, therefore, she slowly went forward to find out where she exactly was. I thought Scar was going to destroy me, said Kiara. But he throws me into some place, unknown. This doesn't even look like the Pride Lands at all. She continued further in her journey to discover what this area was exactly. She went to and fro until she spotted a larger hill. She went there to the very top thereof. From there, she looked down below the hills to discover actual civilization. What is that place? She asked. She saw a small town below that was filled with residents of some kind. Driven by curiosity, she went down to see for herself who these inhabitants were. In the Pride Lands. Kiara has been kidnapped. Zazu exclaimed. Yes, she was taken by Janja and his hyenas, replied Nala. I don't know what they have planned for Kiara, but we have to rescue her before she gets hurt. This is terrible, Simba said. Kian, you think you and the Lion Guard can take out the hyenas and bring back Kiara? Absolutely, Dad. We will make sure that she remains unharmed and that Janja and his hyenas will never return to the Pride Lands. Right, guys. Kian said, looking at his friends. Definitely. You can count on us. Bunga smirked. We are ready once you are ready, Kian, said Fulai. Come on, everyone. Let's rescue Kiara and stop Janja together. Kian commanded, running outside of Pride Rock with his 4 friends following behind him. To the Pride Lands end. Lion Guard defend, the rest of them finished. In the volcano. You think the Lion Guard will come here, Scar? Janja asked. Indeed, Janja, said Scar. They will come here to rescue sweet little Kiara while they have no idea that she is already, how should I say it, gone. Chuckles evilly, once they come here, you will do your part that will lead them straight right to me. Then, I will do my part as well. Ah, brilliant idea, Scar, smiled Usheri, wickedly hissing. Those arrogant fools won't know exactly what will hit them. They won't indeed, Usheri. They will be in for a big surprise, Scar said, laughing maniacally. Back in Ponyville. Here, Twilight, is this the book you're looking for? A little dragon asked. The purple unicorn saw it in his grasp and eagerly took it from him with her magic. Perfect. That's the one, replied Twilight. This book perfectly explains the specific spells I must learn and master. This will be a perfect opportunity to practice them. Sure, but for what purpose? Is there something going on? Spike asked as he was very curious. Twilight dropped the book on the floor as she suddenly felt a little sad. This instantly concerned Spike. What's wrong? Was it something I said? No, it's not you, Spike. It's actually something else. Twilight replied, turning her head away. Spike then came closer and put his arm around Twilight. You can tell me, Twilight. I'm listening. Spike assured. She sighed heavily before she answered. It was that fearful vision I had when King Sombra came back to the Crystal Empire. That traumatizing scene of Princess Celestia giving me that cold look of disapproval and sniff, disappointment was really horrible. Twilight said before she sobbed. Spike patted her on the back and stroked her hair. It's okay, Twilight. Be thankful that wasn't real. We should also be thankful that Sombra has been defeated for good and won't cause us any harm anymore. Spike softly smiled. After thinking about it, Twilight weakly smiled back and hugged Spike. You're right, Spike. And it was all thanks to you that the whole empire was saved. Me? It was really nothing. Cadance was the one who empowered every pony with the Crystal Heart's magic of love to stop Sombra. Spike said. Yes, but that would not have happened if you didn't take the Crystal Heart to her so that she could do her part. You are my hero, Spike. Twilight said, giving him a hug again. Spike returned the hug. Thanks, Twilight. That really means a lot. Spike said. You're welcome, said Twilight, breaking the hug. Anyway, about the spells, I want to learn about them so that the next time I experience any sort of mind control, false illusion, or any other evil spell that might harm my mental facilities, I will know how to counter them and repel them. I just don't want to go through that frightening experience again. That makes sense. Is there anything else I can do for you? Spike asked. Not at the moment. You can go outside and spend some time with Rarity if you want, said Twilight, smiling. Spike smiled after she said that. Thanks, Twilight. Good luck with your spell practice. If you need me, you know where to find me. Will do. See you later, Spike. Twilight waved. After he left the treehouse library, She opened the book to look for the instructions on the specific spells she was studying about. Let's see, which spell do I want to start first? Oh, yes. I will begin with this one. Spike walked past Sugar Cube Corner and spotted the Carousel Boutique in a distance. Ah, there it is. I hope Rarity isn't too busy today. Sighs dreamily, finally, I can spend some time with the most beautiful pony in Equestria. Suddenly, his eyes caught something to his right. He looked on his right side to see something unfamiliar. What is that thing? He asked himself. He curiously turned to a different direction to discover what that thing was. Kiera looked back and forth to see ponies everywhere in the town. She felt a little uncomfortable to see most of them stare at her with all like they've never seen a lion cub before. Why are they staring at me like that? Besides that, I'm in a town of equines far from the Pride Lands. What is going, she said in her head before seeing the baby dragon before her eyes. Spike and Kiera awkwardly stared at each other for a few seconds. Hi. Spike waved. Chapter 2, A New Friend. Whoa. Who are you? Kiera asked, surprised to see a little creature in the midst of a pony-filled town. My name is Spike, Spike said. I don't think I've seen you around here. Wait a minute, you look like something. I look like what? Kiera asked as she was puzzled. Spike scrutinized her appearance before he suddenly remembered something. Oh, yes. You look like a manticore except you have no wings or horns. What are you exactly? He curiously asked. I am a lion, a lioness cub to be precise, replied Kiera. You haven't seen a lion cub before? And what are manticores? Manticores are creatures who look like you except bigger with bat wings, pointy tails, and horns. I don't think any of us have seen these lions you mentioned about. Spike answered. Well, that's quite odd. Where am I anyway? Kiera asked, looking back and forth. Right now, you're in Ponyville in the land of Equestria. Where do you come from? Spike asked. I come from a kingdom called the Pride Lands. My father Simba rules there as its king. If you can help me take me back home in my world, that would be most helpful. Kiera explained. Wait, you're from a kingdom? You are a princess. Wow, that's amazing. I'm actually meeting a princess from another kingdom. Spike squealed. But then, a thought interrupted his excitement. Wait, hold up, did you just say, in my world? What do you mean by that? I mean that my home is from my world, not here, said Kiera. I am a stranger here. Really? You mean that you're from another dimension? Spike asked, widening his eyes in amazement. Well, you could say that, replied Kiera. Wow. But how did you end up here exactly? Spike asked. I was captured by the Pride Land's worst enemy, Scar. He took me from my home and cast me out into this world for whatever intention he had in mind. I don't know what he's planning, but I know for sure he's up to no good. Kiera said. Sweet Celestia, that's terrible. Spike said. Whoever that Scar guy is, he is probably seeking to take over your kingdom. I'll be more than willing to help you get you back home and save your home. Thank you, Spike. I really appreciate that, Kiera said, smiling. No problem. Princess Kiera. Spike smiled back. Come, I know a friend of mine who can help you too. Thus, Spike and Kiera went across the town together. Several ponies who passed by quickly noticed the newcomer and stared at her in surprise and curiosity. Noticing their silent reaction, the cub rolled her eyes in annoyance. Those horses just won't stop looking at me that way, won't they? She rhetorically asked. They are ponies to be precise, Spike corrected. But yes, pretty much. I can't say that I'm surprised that they do that. If you don't mind me asking, where do you come from? I can tell you live in this place of yours, but what is your origin? Kiera asked. Spike thought about it until he lowered his head in sadness. Once she noticed it, she immediately regretted asking. I'm sorry, I didn't too. No, it's okay. It's just that I don't even know who brought me to existence. I know I came from the Dragonlands since I'm a dragon, but I don't even know my own parents. Spike answered. Really? So, you're an orphan? Kiera asked again. He is also a dragon? What are dragons? I don't think dragons even exist in my world. Well, technically yes. I was hatched from my egg by a unicorn named Twilight. She's my older foster sister who watches over me. I'm also her #1 assistant. Spike proudly replied. Then his sadness returned as he thought about his parents again. Although, I do wish I knew who my parents were. I'm so sorry to hear that, Kiera said. I may not understand how that feels like myself, but I can understand how it can hurt someone close to me. What do you mean, princess? Spike asked. What I mean is, my father went through that pain, when he was in my age, replied Kiera. She started to have a couple tears as she thought back on the horrible tragedy that affected her family. He lost his father, my grandfather, during a stampede. He was killed by my granduncle Scar. This shocked Spike as he listened. Really? That's horrible. It is. He also destroyed the majority of animals in the Pride Lands when he became king. Scar cared about no one but himself. He was selfish, cruel, and evil. When Simba returned, Scar tried to kill him, but my father defeated him and restored peace and harmony in the Pride Lands. He's ruled our home for many years now. Kiera finished. That's wonderful. I'm sure your grandfather would have been very proud of you and your dad. What was his name? Spike asked. His name was Mufasa, she replied. Mufasa, Spike repeated. That's an awesome name. I'm definitely gonna remember that. I'm so sorry about your loss though. Thanks. Even though I wasn't there when it happened, I was still saddened by the event. When my dad told me the story, I couldn't believe it. I couldn't really imagine losing a grandfather like that. Kiera said. At least your dad is there to protect you and guide you in the right direction. But since you're here, he must be worried sick about you. Spike said. I know. That's why I need all the help I can get to return back to Pride Rock. Scar will stop at nothing to claim back the kingdom. Kiera said, having the look of determination on her face. Seeing what had to be done, Spike also put his determined look on and faced the cub again. You're right. With my help and the help of my friends, you'll return to your kingdom in no time, your highness. Follow me. As they finally faced the treehouse library, Spike opened the door where Twilight was practicing her spells. Twilight looked back to see her #1 assistant entering inside. Hi, Spike. How was your time with Rarity? Well, I was going to visit Rarity until I met someone on the way. She is actually a new visitor to Ponyville. Spike replied as Kiera was behind him. A new visitor? That's great. Who is she? Twilight asked. See her for yourself, Spike said, stepping aside to reveal the cub to her. Twilight looked amazed to see her as she didn't expect to see a creature like the cub arrive in Ponyville. Kiera sheepishly waved at the unicorn. Hello there, ma'am, Kiera waved. Just below the clouds, there flew a small dark cloud. Green eyes were in the middle of the cloud with purple flames surrounding the eyes. It flew off to a distant mountain while it evilly cackled. Chapter 3, Evil Arising. In the Outlands. Oh no, see if you can spot any sign of the hyenas anywhere in the Outlands, ordered Kian. Affirmative. Oh no replied. He flew up in the sky and kept his keen sight on the ground to see if Janja and his clan were around. Then he spotted two hyenas outside the volcano who were apparently on the lookout. Then he flew down to report to Kayan. I just spotted two hyenas on the lookout outside the volcano. I think that's where they are. Ono said. They might be holding Kiera hostage in there. We got to rescue her. Fulai added. Right. Come on, let's take out Janja and save her. Follow me. Kayan commanded. As the lion guard ran across the outlands and finally reached the volcano, they quietly hid behind the boulders to avoid discovery from the hyena guards. Kayan peeked on the left side of the boulder to see Janja coming outside to speak with his lackeys. We know they're coming, so if you two see them, give the signal. Then we'll do the rest. Got it? Janja whispered. The two lackeys nodded their heads and resumed their work. After Janja left, Kayan looked back to face his team. Okay, it will be just two of them before we face the rest of the hyenas. Bunga and I will take care of those two. Ono will find Kiera and lead her to safety, and Fulai and Bisht will fight the rest of them. Is that all clear? Kayan planned while whispering. Got it, they whispered back. As they themselves were in position, the hyenas got a little impatient. Groan, come on, they should be here by now. It shouldn't take the lion guard all day to come down here to rescue their precious princess, murmured one of them. Yeah, and I'm even getting hungry by the moment. Maybe we should just ow, the other yelled as the honey badger rolled against him. Here they come, Janja, the first uttered seconds before Kayan knocked him out. Oh no, now. Kayan ordered. Affirmative. Ono responded before he flew up to the volcano. The others regrouped with Kayan to fight Janja and his other hyenas. There they are, boys. Let's get 'em. Janja said. Cheesy and Chung followed while wildly cackling. Fulai and Bisht went up against the three of them. Bisht slammed against Janja while Fulai swiftly kicked Cheesy and Chung against the rocks. As Janja was getting back up, Kayan angrily growled at him in battle stance. Janja did likewise while glaring at him. Where is my sister, Janja? What did you do to her? Ha 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 ha. Oh, we did nothing to her yet, Kayan. I'm sure your bird friend will figure that out. Janja evilly smirked. As Ono got inside the volcano, he looked left and right to see where Kiera might be. To his confusion, she was nowhere to be found. That's strange. I thought she would be in here somewhere. I have to look around more. He flew in and outside the volcano, but she still was nowhere in sight. Then Ono started to feel even more worried. Kayan and Janja continued fighting until Kayan gained the upper hand, or paw, and defeated him. Seeing his other hyenas defeated as well, they quickly rejoined together and ran off to the lava pit. Don't let them get away. We have to find Kiera, said Kayan. These guys are going nowhere. We got this. Bunga boasted. They chased the hyenas until they were all inside the volcano and right near the lava pit. I'm giving you one last chance, Janja. Tell me where Kiera is, now. Kayan demanded, glaring at him. The hyenas laughed in amusement. Sorry, Kayan, but I don't have the answer. Do you boys know it? Janja asked his lackeys. Ha ha ha, nope. Don't know a thing. Chung crazily chuckled. Cackles, yes. I know it. Chizu replied. Janja smacked him on the head in annoyance. I mean, no. Nope, I don't. He, Chizu corrected himself. Kayan. I have bad news. Kiera is not in here. She's nowhere around here. Ono reported, flying back inside. The lion guard gasped as they heard the report. What? But I thought the hyenas took her in here. Janja, where exactly did you take her? Kayan again demanded. Ushuri suddenly appeared behind the heroes while evilly hissing. Don't ask the hyenas. Ask him yourselves. Him? Who's him? Fulai asked. As if on cue, the lava bubbled and burst with the flames roaring. In the midst of the flames, Scar appeared before them all. I am he. Ha 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 ha. The Lion Guard gasped in complete shock as they, especially Kian, beheld with their own eyes the most infamous and dangerous villain the Pride Lands ever faced. Kian stood in shock as he stared at him. No, no, Scar. It can't be. How are you alive? My father defeated you years ago. Kian shouted in fear. Unbelievable. Bunga uttered. Ha! You never thought you would see me face to face, did you, Kian? Scar taunted. You thought your father Simba defeated me for good. Well, your days of peace and prosperity are come to an end. And now, the entire kingdom of the Pride Lands will be mine to control. Never. My father defeated you before, and he will do so again. Kian defied. Oh, I don't think so, Scar smirked. He again opened the fiery portal to suck them all in. The Lion Guard tried to hold onto the ground as they were being drawn into the portal. I can't fly away from this thing. Help! Ono cried as he was sucked in there. What is this thing? It's pulling us from the ground. Ah! Bisht yelled, sucked into the portal as well. You can't beat us, Scar. You can't beat us, Yah! Bunga shouted as he was also absorbed. Kian, hold on. Fulai shouted. She tried to grab Kian's tail, but the gravitational pull immediately sucked them inside the portal. Then it closed completely. Scar and his lackeys laughed in unison as they accomplished the second part of the plan. We did it, Scar. We finally got rid of the Lion Guard. Cheesy happily squealed. Yeah. We won't have to worry about them anymore. Chung added. Yes, indeed, my little friends. With them out of the way, there will be no one to stand in my way or way. Simba and his worthless subjects will be destroyed, and I will rule once again as the rightful overlord of the Pride Lands. Scar wickedly smiled. Excellent strategy, Scar, smiled Ushuri. But if I may ask, what are we supposed to do now that the Lion Guard will no longer be able to defend the Pride Lands? I'm glad you asked, Ushuri, said Scar. Your objective is to lead our army to Pride Rock and tell Simba and his followers to surrender the throne. You will tell him that Kian and his friends are gone along with his precious daughter. Kiara chuckles evilly. There, Simba will have no choice but to surrender the kingdom. Then, he will be mine. Brilliant idea, Scar. Ushuri commended. The hyenas laughed in triumph as they listened. But first, Scar continued. His henchmen were silenced once they heard him speak again. I would like to introduce you to a good friend of mine who will ensure victory on our side. Suddenly, a dark cloud appeared above the volcano. It descended on them and formed into a large pillar with green eyes, purple flames surrounding them, and a large red horn on top. Then a grey stallion head appeared on top of the shadowy pillar as he sinisterly laughed to the terror of Ushuri and the hyenas. Say hello to your new ally. Sombra. Scar introduced. Chapter 4, A Friendly Introduction. A manticore cub. Here, shrieked Twilight. Wait, you don't have wings or horns. What are you? Hello? I'm a lion cub. Hasn't anyone in this town heard of a lion or lioness before? Kiara groaned in annoyance. Well, probably not, depending on what they look like I guess, said Spike, smiling sheepishly. Twilight drew close to Kiara to examine her appearance. Where do you come from? Twilight asked. I come from the Pride Lands, she replied. The Pride Lands? I don't think I've ever heard of that name before. Is that where others like you reside in? I don't think there's a place like that in Equestria. Twilight chatted. Twilight. She's not from here, she is actually from another dimension, Spike interrupted. The moment she heard those words, Twilight's pupils shrunk in stunning surprise. Then she grew a large smile that would make Pinkie Pie jealous and jumped up and down excitedly. Another dimension. That's just amazing. I've always wanted to meet a dimensional creature. Then she glanced back at Kiara, who was completely puzzled by her abrupt excitement. I'm so sorry. I never asked for your name. What is your name? I'm Kiara, the cub uttered, still confused by the unicorn's outburst. Kiara, Twilight repeated. What a beautiful name. I'm Twilight Sparkle. My pleasure to meet you. I'm happy that you and Spike are becoming friends. Speaking of friends, I should introduce you to my other friends here in town. You will like them. Kiara looked at Spike for a second to see him nodding in agreement with Twilight. She thought about it until she slightly smiled at the idea. Well, I guess that can work out. But will you help me get back home? My parents are worried sick about me, my home is in danger, and I really have to get back. No worries, Kiara. The princesses will be more than happy to assist you. Twilight smiled. Wait, princesses. You have rulers here? Kiara asked. Yep. We have Princess Celestia who raises the sun and Princess Luna who raises the moon. Twilight replied. Really? Raise the sun and moon? Kiara asked, confused even more. How is that even possible for two creatures to do just that? They wield powerful magic as alicorns. Twilight said. Alicorns. Okay, the more I hear about this, magic and moving the sun and stuff, the more I'll be dumbfounded. Like seriously? Kiara exclaimed, rubbing her head. Don't worry, Kiara. You'll get used to it, said Spike. Come, let me take you to my friends. They will be very intrigued once they see you, especially Fluttershy. Twilight smiled as she exited the door with Spike and Kiara following her. Who's Fluttershy? Kiara asked. You'll see, Spike said. In the wilderness. Where are we? What just happened? Bisht asked, groaning. He and the lion guard got up and saw themselves in a wilderness that had more color than the ones had in their world. I don't think we're in the Outlands anymore. It sure doesn't look like we're in the Pride Lands at all either, Kian added. What was that thing that Scar threw us in? It almost looked like it took us to another place. I still don't understand. How is it that Scar has returned? Isn't he supposed to be dead? Fulai asked. How did he come back? Why did he just transport us to a desert? He's got to be up to something. I think he's out for revenge against Simba. After all, he did defeat him, Bunga said. Can it be possible that Kiara went through here? She wasn't anywhere in the volcano, and Scar and Janja kept hinting about what they've done to her. Oh no, noted. Then that means, Kian widened his eyes in shocking realization. Scar took her here. She has to be somewhere around here. Once we find her, we will return back to the Pride Lands and defeat Scar and his allies. Yeah. Scar won't be able to win this time. Bunga boasted. Oh no, scan the area to see if there is a trail or path we can walk in, Kian ordered. Affirmative, said Ono. As he flew up to the sky, he focused his keen sight on the desert grounds. He spotted a hidden trail that led the way to a strange cave underneath a sandy hill. Satisfied, he flew back down to the group. I just spotted a trail that leads to that cave over there. It might very well be the way out. After Kian looked at that direction and saw the cave, he smiled with firm determination. Great. Come on, everybody. Let's rescue Kiara and save our home. To the Pride Lands and Lion Guard defend, the rest finished. They ran to the trail and resumed their search for their lost princess. Unbeknownst to them, Scar and Sombra spied on them from a distance and teleported back to the lava pit. Well, it would seem that our dear party crashers are determined to rescue their princess from her predicament, Scar observed. He, it won't be long until they will be too late. Sombra sinisterly laughed that made the whole volcano shake. Indeed, my friend. Suoon. I will rule the Crystal Empire once again, the ponies will be mine, and all of Equestria will bow to my will. I thank you for providing me a vessel for my inevitable success. What are friends for? Ha 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 ha. Scar evilly laughed. Simba will tremble before me and will surrender the entire kingdom to me. We will both benefit from each other and rule 2 worlds, together. Both villains laughed wickedly together until Sombra disappeared in his shadow form. Is your clan ready, Janja? Scar asked. Ready to get the party started, boss. Janja chuckled. Excellent. Go, and make Simba suffer. Scar commanded. The hyenas, jackals, and crocodiles left the volcano and made their way to the Pride Lands. Everything is falling into place, little by little. Back in Ponyville, Twilight and Spike showed Kiara all of Ponyville and its residents. While they were showing her the places in the town, Kiara was still annoyed by the awkward and curious stares from most of the residents. Whenever she looked back at them, they swiftly resumed their business as if they never looked at her. This is Sugar Cube Corner. It's the place where you can have sweet treats and delicious pies and cakes served there. You'll love it. Spike explained. Gee, I wonder what they look and taste like, Kiara sarcastically remarked. Pinkie stepped out of the front door and waved at her friends. Hey, Twilight. Hey, Spike. Then she suddenly laid eyes on the cub princess. Pinkie, meet Kiara. Kiara, this is Pinkie. Spike introduced. Pinkie exploded with joyful excitement and brought a party cannon with her. A new visitor to Ponyville. I must throw you a welcome party, she bellowed. Confetti sprayed everywhere with balloons flying around the dumbfounded cub. Okay, that's just strange, Kiara muttered. Did she just pull that thing out of her back and those colorful thingies out of her hair? It's Pinkie Pie, said Spike. Whenever she does something odd or bizarrely weird, the best thing to do is never question her or the things she does, for the sake of your sanity. Advice gladly accepted. Kiara willingly nodded. Chapter 5, A Fun Time. This is amazing, squealed Pinkie Pie. I'll get everything ready for the welcome party. You will love it. She zoomed back inside while closing the door. Again, Kiara was puzzled by the pink pony's hyperactive behavior. Things are just getting weird by the second, the cub thought. So, is she always like this? No worries, Kiara. You'll get used to it. She always gets excited whenever a stranger visits Ponyville for the first time, said Twilight. She does it to make them feel welcomed and at home. I guess that is sweet of her to do something like that, said Kiara. But her apparent strange behavior is something I might never get used to. Come. We'll show you the rest of Ponyville. Spike smiled. So Spike and Twilight showed the lioness cub princess every other place in the town. They eventually went to the Carousel Boutique. Spike opened the door while Twilight and Kiara entered in. The white unicorn turned around to see her favorite purple dragon and Twilight coming to her. Spikey Wikey, Twilight, what a pleasure to see you both here. Hey, Rarity. Twilight and I have someone you would love to meet. Spike beamed. Really? Who is it? Rarity asked, curious to know who it was. Twilight pointed to the cub next to her. Rarity widened her eyes in surprise. Hello there, ma'am. My name is Kiara, the princess of the Pride Lands. It is my pleasure to meet your acquaintance, she introduced herself, slightly bowing. My, I don't think we've had creatures like you around here before. And you're a princess? Well then, the honor is mine. The name's Rarity, Your Highness, the unicorn spoke, kneeling reverently. Wait, she's a princess. Spike didn't tell me that. I'm actually next to a lion princess. This day just keeps getting better and better. Twilight thought with a look of amazement. So this must be the place of your residence? Kiara asked. Indeed, princess. I work as a fashionista, I make dresses and all sorts of fashion for Annaponi. If you like, I can make a royal dress for your majesty as a guest of honor. Rarity smiled. A dress? What is that? Kiara asked, confused. Allow me to demonstrate my expertise in fashion. Rarity beamed. Hee, this is going to be good, muttered Spike. Rarity gathered all of her dresses she was working on earlier and also brought her accomplished dresses in display. Kiara gazed in wonder at the bright color, design, and dazzling beauty of the dresses. So Rarity quickly resumed her work on her half-done dresses while handing over the finished ones through her magic. You see, these are the best ones I have made. In a moment, I'll make you a very special dress that fits your royal status as a sign of good faith and welcome. Kiara was a bit dumbfounded at the work she was doing and all the effort she put into her work. She had never seen material clothing before, so seeing all of this was quite a surprise for her. She couldn't think of anything else that would resemble artificial beauty. Wow! I must say, this looks so wonderful. I don't know what else I'm supposed to say. No need, darling. This is what I do best. I'm glad and honored that you appreciate that, said Rarity, bowing her head in gratitude. You're welcome. Kiara said, trying to regain her composure after gazing at her fashion. Thanks, Rarity. Pinky is planning a welcome party for Kiara. I was wondering if you can join us. Twilight asked. Why, absolutely, darling. Anything for our dear guest. Rarity replied. That's great. We'll see you around, Rarity. Spike waved. He then started to have dreamy eyes on Rarity as he finished waving goodbye. Kiara noticed that. Spike, why are you looking at her like that? The cub asked. Huh? Oh. Spike immediately shook his head to regain focus. Nothing. I was, making sure she didn't have anything stuck on her hair, he said, smiling sheepishly. Right, Kiara replied, turning around to follow Twilight. The trio then went on their way to the mayor's hall. However, a blue rainbow-maned Pegasus sped around them and hovered over them. Hey, Twilight. Hey, Spike, she called. Then she cast a curious look at the lioness cub. Hey there, little fella. Another friend of yours? Kiara asked. Yep. This is our friend Rainbow Dash. Rainbow, this is Princess Kiara from the Pride Lands. Spike introduced. Wait, the Pride Lands? Where in Equestria are they exactly? Rainbow asked. It's in my world. I was teleported into this place by accident, said Kiara. Really? So you're a creature from another dimension? That is awesome. Welcome to Ponyville. Rainbow said. She sped off to the sky with incredible speed. Whoa, is she really that fast? I've never seen a creature with such amazing speed before, observed Kiara. She is faster than a flock of eagles. That's an understatement if you ask me, said Twilight. She is also one of the bravest ponies I've met. Whenever danger presented itself, she would always go for the blow with no fear. She is loyal to her friends no matter what. At that moment, a sonic rain boom appeared in the sky. Rainbow flew down to their level and gave Kiara a salute. I hope you like it here, Kiara. Whenever you need help, you can count on me. Dash said before flying away. Wow, that rainbow explosion she did was amazing. I've never seen anything like that. Kiara exclaimed. That's called a rain boom. Pretty cool, huh? Spike smirked. Yeah. Really cool. Suddenly, Kiara's stomach started to growl. She didn't realize she hadn't eaten anything since she was captured by the hyenas and taken to Equestria by Scar. I'm starting to get hungry now. I haven't eaten anything since I came here. Twilight and Spike looked at each other, nodded, and turned back to the cub. I believe there's a certain place you'll feel more comfortable. Another friend of ours will feed you there. Spike said. Really? Well, lead the way. Kiara smiled. The trio then went to a certain cottage not far from Ponyville. Kiara noticed the animals that were in the backyard of the cottage. Some of the animals looked curiously at the cub, the others however were terrified at her as they recognized her as a predator, albeit a cub. Her stomach growled louder as her primal instincts struggled for dominance as she saw her prey. No. I can't act now. I have to see what options are available. Once Twilight knocked on the door, a yellow Pegasus opened it and greeted her friends. Hi, Spike and Twilight. Hey, Fluttershy. I hope we're not interrupting anything since we have someone you would be happy to meet, said Twilight. Oh, no, everything is okay. Who is it? Fluttershy muttered. Kiara stepped forward and nodded her head in acknowledgement. Suddenly, Fluttershy's pupils shrunk in complete amazement. She made a squeal noise before quickly picking up the cub and hugging it. Oh my goodness! This little cub is so adorable. A little manticore. Kiara tried to free herself from the tight hug of the Pegasus but failed to do so. Hey! A little too tight? And I'm not a manticore or whatever you call it, she shouted. Fluttershy gasped as she heard the cub's voice. Oh my! You can talk. I didn't know cubs can talk, said Fluttershy. Of course I can. Now please let me go. Kiara demanded. Sorry, the Pegasus apologized as she released her. Kiara adjusted herself by straightening her fur and picking any pieces of yellow fur she got from Fluttershy due to the hug. So you're Fluttershy. My name is Kiara, Princess of the Pride Lands, in my world. I am happy to meet your acquaintance. Kiara formally introduced. Oh. Well, welcome to Equestria, Fluttershy said, bowing. Kiara is a great friend, Fluttershy. You'll love her. By the way, she is getting hungry at the moment. Do you happen to have any food that might suit her? Spike asked. Definitely. Come inside. Fluttershy allowed the trio to enter before she closed the door. She was unaware of a red horn standing in front of a window, facing Kiara. Chapter 6, A Tyrant's Triumph. In the Pride Lands. Ha 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 ha. Simba is going to be so peeved. I can imagine the look on his face. He, Cheesa giggled. Yeah. He ain't gonna stop us now, right Janja? Chung asked. Exactly, boys. It's all part of Scar's plan. With him and his family out of our way, all of the Pride Lands will be ours for the taking. Janja evilly cackled. The hyenas, jackals, crocodiles, and vultures were entering through the outskirts of the Pride Lands as they have been tasked by the evil fiery lion to bring misery and hopelessness to the royal family. All the inhabitants of the Pride Lands never expected a time in which they would all experience Scar's second reign of terror. They woefully were unaware of the arisen darkness that would soon prevail over all the lands, starting with Pride Rock. Simba and Nala stood on Pride Rock with looks of worry and fear on their faces. They kept looking for signs of the Lion Guard's return with Kiara safely retrieved. Simba, do you think Kian will make it? I fear that the worst will come, worried Nala. No, Nala, the Lion Guard will make it, assured Simba. I know it from my heart. Everything will be all right. Honey, we have been waiting for hours for them to come back with our daughter. And they still haven't returned, stressed Nala as tears formed on her eyes. I really don't like the sound of that. Just as she had said that, thunder clouds were forming just above the Pride Lands. Chilling winds blew the trees, the antelope were scattered, and some thunder cracked in the sky. Still determined to not give in to despair, Simba put his paw on Nala's and nuzzled her cheek. I understand your concerns, dear, he comforted. But Kian has faced enemies many times before. If he could overcome them from time to time, I'm sure he will succeed and bring Kiara safely home. Finding comfort and assurance in his words, Nala nuzzled him back with a soft smile. Okay, let's hope he comes back soon. He will, Simba smiled. I have faith in him. Suddenly, thunder cracked in the sky again, and lightning bolts flashed in the dark clouds. Then just below the Pride Rock, Scar's army reached unto them. Alerted to their unexpected presence, Simba and Nala growled in anger and got into their fighting poses. They drew close to the rocky edge of the rock to get a better view of their unwelcome adversaries. The villains smiled mischievously as they knew they had already won. What are you doing here? What have you done with my daughter Kiara? Simba angrily demanded. Oh, nothing much, Janja laughed. We just wanted to relay the unfortunate news of your daughter. Hearing those words struck horror in the hearts of the royal couple. Kiara is no longer, how should I say it, in the land of the living. Quite a sad day, isn't it? Ushari sarcastically hissed. The salamanders around him snickered as he said that. No, no. No. You're lying. Nala shouted. That can't be true. Simba added. Nala's fears had been confirmed. Their daughter was gone, forever. Oh, and as for the Lion Guard, I'm afraid they have suffered the same fate, Ushari added further as he relished the fear, anger, and pain in their eyes. They went out like cowardly failures they were. Yeah. They were, begging for mercy. It was like music to my ears, a jackal crazily chuckled. Sorry, Simba, but you have lost. With the Pride Land's greatest protectors destroyed, there ain't no one standing in our way, Janja taunted. He drew close to Simba as he grinned wider. The entire kingdom is ours now. Simba and Nala didn't know what to do next. They lost their daughter, they lost their son, and they lost all their friends, the entire Lion Guard. They never thought that the day would come which the Lion Guard would lose their lives in an instant and so sudden. Seeing that all hope was lost forever, Simba bowed his head in extreme sorrow while Nala wept over the loss of their children. A lightning bolt struck the grass near Pride Rock which ignited a fire. The sky was darker as more thunder cracked in the sky. As the fire grew, a pillar of flame erupted from it which formed into Scar. He laughed in great triumph as he finally beheld the face of his arch-enemy. Simba widened his eyes in terror and shock as he looked at his long-dead uncle, the most dangerous villain of the kingdom and the one who ruined his childhood and brought misery to all the Pride Lands. He slowly stepped back as he couldn't believe his own eyes. Hello, Simba. Your favorite Uncle Scar is back. Ha 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 ha. Scar taunted. No, it can't be. Scar. You're dead. How are you alive? How is this possible? Simba shrieked. Oh, no, your eyes do not deceive you, Simba. Besides, who would know me better than you? Scar evilly smirked. Your precious children are no more, the same goes for their dear friends. No. You will not prevail, Scar. We will find a way to stop you. Nala defied. Nala, you forget who you are talking to, Scar mockingly scolded. I will take back my place as the Pride Land's rightful king. My army will take whatever they want, and I will scorch everywhere I seek and claim my victory as I see fit. Then he turned to Simba. Face it, Simba, you've lost. While Nala remained defiant, Simba couldn't take any more of what was going on. He lost his children, lost the Lion Guard, and then his worst enemy returned to spread chaos throughout the lands. I cannot believe all of this is happening, in one day. Scar has returned, and he killed my son and daughter. Without the lion guard, I have no way of defending my kingdom, he thought. Then he roared angrily at Scar. You will never get away with this, Scar. Not this time. Simba roared. But I already have. The kingdom is mine to command, your subjects are abandoning you, and most importantly, Scar grinned more sinisterly as he spoke the next words. Your father Mufasa would be very disappointed of your failure. Surely, he would consider you as a worthy successor and competent king after all the failures you achieved, right? Hearing those last words struck a nerve in Simba. It slowly broke him down and made him consider everything he had done that led up to this. What would Mufasa say to Simba? I've already disappointed him by failing to keep Kian and Kiara safe. What have I done? So, what is it going to be, Simba? Surrender the throne or be destroyed? You decide. Scar threatened, wickedly chuckling. Simba looked left and right as he saw fire spreading throughout the grasslands surrounding Pride Rock. He also saw his lionesses gathering their cubs to keep them safe, and the animals scattering themselves away from Scar's army and the rampaging fire. Seeing that he was vastly outnumbered and weakened by sorrow and disbelief, he lowered his head. I sniff, surrender, Scar. Simba, no. Nala screamed. The hyenas and Scar laughed in triumph as their nemesis gave up. Wise decision, Simba. I suggest that you and your pride also do the following: run away and never return. Simba, you can't be serious. Scar will destroy everything we hold dear like what he did all those years ago. We will not give up that easily. Nala objected. Nala, it's over. Kian and the Lion Guard are dead, our daughter is dead, and our entire kingdom is lost. There is no more hope for the Pride Lands. Simba angrily yelled. No, Simba, you defeated him even after you learned he killed your father Mufasa. We can beat him again. Nala pleaded. Simba however turned his face away from Nala and looked to the thunderclouds. I don't see how I can, Nala. Losing my father was horrible enough, but losing two of the best cubs we could ever have, that's something different altogether. Simba sobbed. We lost, Nala. Seeing how her husband was acting and understanding what was going through his mind, she assembled the lionesses and their cubs. Move out. We must find shelter before the fire reaches us. Go, now. Obeying her command, they left Pride Rock to escape the deadly inferno. Nala then turned to Simba. I'll get Rafiki, Timon, Pumbaa and the others out of here. I hope you come up with a plan. After she left, Simba took one last glare at Scar and his army before retreating with his pride. I'm sorry, father. I have failed you. Simba sadly whispered. Scar manically laughed as he once again had the whole kingdom under his control. At last, victory is mine. Goodbye, Simba. And hello, Scar. The Kingdom of Scar. Ha 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 ha. Chapter 7, Close Friends. Back in Equestria. Fluttershy was really nice, Spike, said Kiara as she was walking with the said dragon and Twilight on the road. That fish she provided was so good. I barely eat that type of fish back at home. Well, she is very good with animals as always. Again, I'm just very happy that you enjoyed yourself back there, smiled Spike. It's not every day that Fluttershy has guests come over to her cottage. Really? How come? Kiara curiously asked. Well, she is well known as a shy Pegasus, so she normally doesn't have many ponies come over except for our friends, replied Spike. Then he looked up to the sky and noticed that the sun was slightly setting and the sky turning a little orange. Man, it's been a long day, hasn't it? This day just went by so quickly. I know, right? Kiara chuckled. It really has been one heck of a day for me so far. First, I got captured by the hyenas, confronted by Scar, thrown into this mysterious new world of yours, and then I met you. Spike turned his head to see her looking at him. You're actually the first creature to welcome me in this town. Well, of course. I mean, we normally welcome every new visitor the same way. But for you, you are quite different, said Spike, pausing to think back on the series of events that transpired that day. Can it actually be a coincidence that we ended up becoming friends? I haven't even thought about it until now. Me neither, Kiera replied. You know, I have to admit that you seem to be very nice and overall likable. Actually, now that I think about it, you have become my first friend that actually cares about me. I really don't have that much friends back at Pride Rock. Spike widened his eyes in surprise and disbelief. Wait, really? But you're the princess of your kingdom. Surely, you must have many friends back at this Pride Rock, right? What? You think that a princess is always going to have an abundance of friends just because she is a princess? No, that's not always the case for me at least, Kiera scoffed before looking down on the ground. I have only 2 friends at home who are somewhat like me, but they always tell me many things that I don't like, and they are just plain annoying. Then she looked back at Spike with a tender smile. You however are not like that at all. I must say that you have a good heart. I do? Well, thanks, Kiera. I just do my best to be a good friend to every pony. Spike blushed. I can see that in you. Speaking of which, I actually like your friends too. Still, I'm not sure if I can get along with every one of those ponies in your hometown. Kiera spoke, rolling her eyes at the memory of the residents idly staring at her earlier. Don't worry. You will eventually get used to them, Spike smirked. I do wonder what it's like to live in the Pride Lands that you've been talking about. Well, it's a really good place to live in. My father Simba always wanted to make our kingdom to be a center of light and guidance for our subjects to look up to. Sigh, words cannot describe how much I miss it right now, Kiera said, bowing her head in sorrow. Moved with compassion, Spike stroked her head in comfort. I'm sorry you were taken away, Kiera. I truly am. I wish I had some all-powerful magic to teleport you back home, said Spike. Thank you, Spike. That means a lot to me, Kiera smiled. Finally, they arrived at Sweet Apple Acres where they saw an orange mare with a cowboy hat on her head working on the farm. The cub looked around the area to see it filled with apple trees and some sort of strange objects she's never seen before. As they got close to the farm mare greeted them warmly. Hey there, Twilight. Hey, Spike. Hey, Applejack. Twilight and Spike greeted back. Applejack? Kiera asked, confused. The farm mare then looked down at the puzzled cub and widened her eyes. Whoa, is that a cub? Yes, a lion cub to be precise, Kiera specified. My name is Kiera, daughter of King Simba from the Pride Lands. I take it you're Applejack. Yeah, I am, Applejack nodded. Kiera, huh? So you're a princess? I don't think I've seen ya before. It's a long story. But it's nice to meet you, madam. Kiera smiled. Nice to meet ya too, princess. Applejack said, shaking her paw. Hey, Big Mac. Apple Bloom. We have a royal guest at our farm today with Twilight and Spike. Welcome her. Big Mac. Apple Bloom. Who are they? Kiera asked. Family members of Applejack, Twilight replied. Big Mac is her brother, and Apple Bloom is her little sister. After she said that, the said stallion and filly emerged from the farm and waved at their friends. They cast a curious look at Kiera as they saw her with them. Greetings, you two. Name's Kiera. Pleasure to meet you both. Yup. Big Mac smiled. Hey there. Apple Bloom squealed. She ran up to her and gazed at Kiera. Where are ya from? Are ya from the Everfree Forest? No, I'm from the kingdom called the Pride Lands. I was taken away from my home by an evil villain and was brought here. That's where I met Spike. Kiera explained. Really? I'm sorry to hear that, Apple Bloom frowned. How far is your home from here? Well, let's say that it's a long way from here. I told Spike all about it, grinned Kiera. Yep. Hey, Apple Bloom, if you're not too busy, would you like to play with us later? Spike asked. Sure. I'd love to, the filly smiled. Elsewhere in Equestria. After traveling several miles from the wilderness far from the Everfree Forest, the Lion Guard finally spotted something they have been looking for ever since they arrived in Equestria. Wait. I think I see something. Oh no, confirm if it's actually what I think it is. I believe we're almost there. Kian ordered. Affirmative. Oh no complied. He flew up to the orange sky and narrowed his sight. He saw civilization not too far from where they were at and flew back down to his comrades. I saw a large crystal-like structure not too far from here. I also spotted some horses that reside in that area. So we're almost there. Awesome. We are going to find Kiera in no time. Bunga shouted. Right. Let's go. There isn't much time left. The sooner we rescue Kiera, the better our chances to defeat Scar. Kian declared. Thus, the Lion Guard ran their way to the Crystal Empire. Later at night. As Twilight, Spike, and Kiera were walking back home, the moon and stars were shining brightly in the night sky. Twilight opened the door to allow the other two enter inside before she entered in with them and closed the door. I'm sorry we couldn't go to Canterlot today. I forgot we've spent so much time introducing you to our friends all day. First thing tomorrow, we'll bring you to Princess Celestia. I promise. Twilight spoke. It's all right. I'm very sure that my mom and dad are all fine and keeping themselves safe from Scar, said Kiera. I just wish I was there to help them out. I hope Kian is aware of his return. Don't worry, we'll make sure you get back home safely. Whatever this Scar dude is doing right now, he will not succeed. Spike assured with the look of hope. You're right, Spike, Kiera replied. We should get to bed now. Good night, you two. Twilight waved, yawning. She went to her bedroom to go to sleep. Good night, Twilight, Spike yawned as well. Kiera then went close to Spike to give him a hug. Thanks for your kindness today, friend. Sweet dreams. Kiera smiled. Spike blushed as he returned the hug. Thanks, you too, Spike said. He went to his bed to get ready to sleep. As he got on his covers, he thought back on all the fun and the exciting conversations he had with the cub throughout the entire day. This strange cub who came from a different world or alternate universe somehow arrived in his world and soon became best friends. He never thought a day like that would come, yet it had come. That cub isn't so bad. I think I'm going to miss her once she leaves Equestria. It's been one day so far, and I'm starting to like her already. She's proven to be a great friend. Spike thought. As he meditated on such kind thoughts, he drifted off to a peaceful slumber. Kiera looked up at the sky and gazed at the wonderful stars and moon through an open window. Sigh, I'll be back soon, Dad. I'll be back soon. After all, you taught me that the great kings of the past always watch over us. I know they are. She then went to the couch and yawned out of exhaustion. She closed her eyes and slept. The still, cool breeze was heard outside the window, which was like music in the ears of the cub. It made her relax even more, but not for long. Suddenly, a large red horn entered the room through the open window and levitated itself around the cub in a shadowy aurora. It lodged itself between her eyes. A dark, evil chuckle echoed from the Red Horn. Chapter 8, Battle against Sombra. In the Pride Lands. As the fires rampaged across the Pride Lands engulfing everything in their path, Simba and his pride gathered themselves together within a cave in the Outlands. As Simba looked up in the sky, he saw large pillars of smoke and fire soaring high above them, which were accompanied by fierce thunder and lightning strikes amongst the thunder clouds. It filled Simba's heart with rage and sorrow as he beheld his beloved home being held captive by his powerful nemesis. "We have to do something, Simba," cried Timon. "We can't let Scar win." "He already has," Simba muttered, pain and guilt tainting his voice. "There is nothing we can do about it." "How do you know that Scar was telling the truth?" Nala asked. "For all that we know, he could be lying to us. Kian has endured other bigger challenges as this one before, and he and his friends have always triumphed in every battle. This is our home, Simba. It is our duty to defend it no matter how hard the situation is." Simba thought on his wife's wise words before he looked back up in the sky. He could see somewhat Mufasa's face in the dark clouds with a frown on his face. "Remember who you are, my son. Remember." Then he softly smiled with tears on his eyes. "You're right, Nala. We will all defend our home and fight for its freedom from Scar's wrath, with or without the Lion Guard." Then he roared mightily with courage. The lionesses roared back as they were encouraged by their king's determination. "Back in Equestria." "Huh? Where am I? What's going on?" "Ah!" Kiara screamed. She was surrounded by thick darkness in a large void. Thinking that this was some sort of a bad dream, she closed her eyes in an attempt to wake herself up from her dream. "Come on! Come on! Wake up! Wake up!" Suddenly, a dark chuckle echoed throughout the darkness. "Oh my precious baby, this is no dream, this is merely a friendly introduction," the voice hissed. Green eyes appeared in the darkness before her, which greatly terrified her. His eyes drew closer and closer to her in a menacing manner. "Get away from me! Get away! Who are you?" Kiara frantically demanded. "Sombra, your worst nightmare," the figure shouted. He then encircled her with his dark magic and entered her mind. She screamed in horror as she kept swiping her claws in vain. Then she dropped to the ground and fell completely unconscious. Early in the morning, Spike arose from his sleep and stretched his arms. "Yawn, man, I really needed a good night rest. Time for some breakfast," he said. He got out of the bed and went to the kitchen. He decided to grab a bowl of cereal and began eating his breakfast. After he ate breakfast, he set the bowl in the sink. "Let's see how Kiara is doing," said Spike. As he walked out of the kitchen, he noticed how the window was open. He ran up to it to see the sun rising from the horizon. "Looks like you wanted to breathe some fresh air and behold the sunrise, huh, Kiara?" He received no answer. As he looked behind him, she was not in the main floor. "Kiara? Kiara?" he called. He then decided to search around the library. To his surprise, she was nowhere in the library. She must have left earlier to begin her day. "Huh, never thought she was a morning cub," he thought. Kiara prowled through the empty streets of Ponyville as it was early in the morning. Her eyes glowed green with purple flames surrounding them while Sombra's horn was attached to her forehead. She grinned evilly as the dark entity within her had a plan to carry out. Thus, she went to the train station to go to a particular city Sombra had in mind. He never noticed Spike spying on him from behind Sugar Cube Corner. "In the Crystal Empire. That's strange. I don't see Kiara anywhere." Ono observed. "It's either she was here already and then left, or she didn't come here at all." "I thought for sure she would be here," said Kian. The Lion Guard were in the midst of the Crystal City while keeping a low profile from the Crystal Ponies. "We cannot give up now. We need to figure out a way for us to find her before it's too late." Bisht thought about it for a moment until something caught his eye. He looked up to see dark clouds forming together in the sky and chilling winds blowing together. Guys. Something wrong is happening, he alerted. They all followed his gaze and saw what he saw. Suddenly, purple crystals were arising out of the ground while all the crystal ponies were running from their lives. They ran into their homes, locked their doors, and closed their windows. The Lion Guard then threw themselves into the open and prepared themselves to face whatever foe the ponies were fleeing from. Then a large shadowy figure appeared before them. Large green eyes with a red horn and purple flames lit up in the midst thereof. "Show yourself, villain. Whoever you are," Kian demanded while in a fighting pose. "Yeah, we're not afraid of you," Bunga added. To their shock and amazement, Kiara emerged from the darkness with an evil grin on her face. "Wait. Kiara. Is that you? Unbungalivable!" Bunga exclaimed. Chuckling, "Your dear old sister can't hear you now, for her new master is in control," the voice proudly declared. "Wait a minute, that's not Kiara's voice." "Who are you?" Kian yelled, rage building in his voice. "King Sombra. The rightful ruler of the Crystal Empire." Sombra introduced. Lightning struck across the sky as soon as he mentioned his own name. "King Sombra." Fulai repeated. "Where do you come from? Why are you taking over Kiara's body? And who do you work for?" Bunga added. Sombra angrily shot his magic at them. They ducked from his assault and surrounded him with extreme caution. "I work for no one. But I do have my good friend to thank for, as he brought me a great gift. Don't you think so, Kian?" Sombra smirked. The lion cub widened his eyes in shock. "How do you know my name?" Sombra wickedly chuckled. "Why, I'm glad you asked. Let's just say that your granduncle gave me such valuable information about your family and your kingdom." Realization immediately hit the Lion Guard as they knew whom he was referring to. Scar. Scar is the one who is behind all of this," Fulai exclaimed, her pupils shrinking in shock. "Bravo! You figured it out?" "Allow me to explain," said Sombra. "After those pathetic crystal ponies and Kiara's insufferable dragon friend defeated me with the magic of love, I was sent back to the darkness realm with but only my horn, as it was all that was left of me. There, I encountered Scar's spirit as he too was destroyed by his own enemies. I saw how much we had in common, and he proposed a deal." "What kind of deal?" Ono asked. "A deal for the both of us to work together to take over both the Pride Lands and Equestria." Sombra chuckled. "Besides, I have given him all the information in regards to the magic of Equestria. Why should we rule one world if we can rule two? I'll start with the Crystal Empire first." "We won't let you and Scar conquer them," shouted Kian. "Those creatures have beaten you before, and you shall be defeated again." The Lion Guard then charged at the possessed cub. Sombra shot more of his magic at the charging guardians. They jumped out of the way as they initiated their own attacks. Kian tackled Sombra and repeatedly slashed him with his claws. Sombra slashed him back with Kiara's claws and kicked him off him. Ono dived toward his horn and struck against it with his beak. It remained unfazed by his attack, which prompted Sombra to swat him away. Fulai ran up to him and tackled him. Being stronger than her, Sombra grabbed her by the throat and threw her against a house. Bisht smashed Sombra against a wall while Bunga threw rocks at the possessed cub. Kiara's voice was heard as she cried in pain. "Kiara! Can you hear me?" Kian yelled. "Careful, Kian!" Sombra mockingly warned. "The more you try to attack me, the higher the chance you'll end up hurting your precious sister. Some protective brother you turned out to be." This somewhat discouraged Kian, as the thought of hurting his own sister taunted him. Seeing him distracted, Sombra emitted another magical beam which struck Kian in the shoulder and sent him flying. He fell on the ground nearly wounded. "Kian," his friends screamed. They ran over to him to check on him. Ha, ha, ha. You poor insignificant foals are nothing compared to my unlimited power. His horn shot forth purple lightning towards the sky. Kiera screamed in pain the more he did that. Are you all right, Kian? Fulai asked. We have to stop Sombra, Kian weakly muttered. But how? He's too powerful. He's going to destroy us all. Oh no, shrieked. Ah! Somebody please help me. Kiera screamed in pain within her subconscious. Her body was still held in control by Sombra as he sadistically relished her pain and fear. Your friends can't help you now, my dear, whispered Sombra. They can't lay a paw on me so long as I am in control of you. The Crystal Empire is mine. Suddenly, a fireball was thrown at his horn. It electrocuted Sombra's horn, which provoked him to scream in agony. The fire then surrounded his horn, which swiftly removed it from Kiera's head completely. Then his shadowy form arose from the horn to discover who did that. To his amazement, Spike stood before him with anger and bravery on his face. You! Impossible! How did you find me here? Sombra demanded. I saw your horn on Kiera's head when you took off in the Ponyville train. I couldn't believe it at first, but I now know. Noppany, and I mean Noppany, hurts my friend. Spike angrily shouted. He breathed more fire at Sombra. He groaned in pain. The Lion Guard saw Spike with their jaws dropping. Who is that guy? Kian asked. He looks like a giant lizard. That's so cool. Bunga admired. Is he the one whom Sombra was talking about? He's her friend. Fulai asked. We should thank him for saving us. Bish suggested. Yeah. He even freed Kiera. Look. Oh no, noticed. Spike kneeled beside her to check on her. Kiera. Kiera. Are you okay? Talk to me. Spike said. He gently lifted her head to see Kiera slowly opening her eyes to behold her savior. Spike. Is that you? Kiera weakly asked. Yes. It's me. I hope you're not too injured, said Spike. Chuckles, of course not, Spike. Sombra is gone, right? Kiera hoped. To her disappointment, Sombra recovered from Spike's flames and glared at his arch-nemesis. You will pay for that, you worthless little dragon. Sombra threatened. The Lion Guard stood next to Spike as Kian helped his sister up. You're outnumbered, Sombra. You can't take on all of us. There's 7 of us, and only 1 of you. Spike stated. Are you sure about that? Sombra smirked. As if on cue, a large fiery portal appeared in front of the Crystal Castle. Out of it came the hyenas, jackals, vultures, crocodiles, and salamanders. Ushari and Janja stood at the front of the army. A large pillar of flame sprang from the portal, which formed into Scar. He laughed in wicked triumph as he was on top of the castle. The game's over, Kian. You and your friends have lost. What have you done to my family? Kian angrily demanded. Nothing at all really, Scar smirked. I just simply drove them out. They can't save you now. The Pride Lands are officially ours, and Equestria is now next on the list. The choice is yours, Lion Guard, Ushari said. It's either you surrender to us peacefully or suffer our combined wrath. Oh, I don't think so, a mysterious deep voice called out. All the villains and heroes turned their faces to find the source of the voice. Kian could have sworn it sounded very familiar. Suddenly, a white portal appeared on the other side of the city. There, they saw Simba, Nala, Rafiki, Timon, Pumbaa, and all the Pride Landers marching together. A large white cloud appeared above them and formed into the familiar face of the greatest former king of the Pride Lands. No, it can't be. Mufasa! Scar screamed. Grandfather! Kian joyfully called. Pridelanders, assemble. Mufasa commanded before mightily roaring. Chapter 9, The Final Showdown. Scar and Sombra growled in heated anger as they saw their combined adversaries united together in the Crystal Empire. Scar roared in anger while the flames surrounded the Crystal Castle. Sombra ignited his horn in fury as he likewise prepared himself for the final battle. Their army was terrified of the heroic Pridelanders at first until Ushuri hissed at them. "Don't even think about surrendering to them," he snapped. "Destroy them all. Once they are out of the way, Equestria will be ours for the taking." The evil animals looked towards each other in confusion until they eagerly growled in determination. "Right. Come on, fellas. Let's take them all on," Janja commanded, wickedly laughing. "Yeah. I'll take on that big lizard fellow. He looks so tasty. Ha 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 ha." Chiza crazily chuckled. Simba turned to his subjects with courage on his face. "Pridelanders, we may not know the inhabitants of this world, but we know that they are in imminent danger as long as Scar and his allies roam around the multiverse. United, we stand. Divided, we fall." Then all the lionesses roared again as their battle cry. Spike, Kiara, and the Lion Guard looked on as they saw the Pridelanders prepared for battle. Mufasa himself smiled on them with his nod of approval. "Wow, that's your family. Cool. I should meet with them to get to know them, Kiara," Spike said. "You can do that later. Scar is getting ready to attack." Ono alerted. The Outlanders growled with fury as they readied themselves for a fight. The battle between good and evil was about to commence as both sides glared at each other. Both sides hoped to overcome the other for different purposes, one to save the world, and the other to conquer the world. "Attack!" Scar commanded. His army then ran forward to attack their enemies. "Attack!" Simba ordered as well. His army ran toward them as well with the same type of energy they all had when they fought against the hyenas many years ago on Pride Rock. Spike held Kiara tight as they both witnessed both armies clashing together. "Come on. Let's help them out," Kian ordered. "To the Prideland's end. Lion Guard defend," the rest of them finished, charging towards Janja and his hyenas. Simba slashed 2 crocodiles on their faces, kicked 3 hyenas away, and tackled 2 jackals before they could touch Nala. The said lioness grabbed Chung by the tail and threw him against Chiza. They both had stars swirling around their heads as they fell down unconscious. She gave a soft smile to her husband Simba before she resumed her fight against other opponents. "You cannot win, Janja. Give it up now," Kian demanded, glaring at him. "Never, Kian," defied Janja. "Not with all the possible food that this world has to offer. I mean, catching delicious prey from the Pride Lands and here? That's a whole new food supply we will relish from. Ha 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 ha." Growling angrily, Kian tackled him on the ground and tried to slash him with his claws. However, Janja kicked him off him, grabbed his tail, and threw him against a wall. Fulai and Bunga charged at him to help Kian, but the hyena leader jumped above them and landed behind them. He swatted Bunga away and kicked Fulai to the ground. "There ain't nothing you can do to stop us, Lion Guard," Janja taunted. "Scar will torch this place with fire, and we all will savor our spoils." "Right, boys." His hyena companions laughed in agreement with him. "Say goodbye, Kian," said Janja, preparing to give the deadly blow to his enemy. But suddenly, green fire enveloped his butt and the butts of the other hyenas. They ran away screaming in pain from the flames. As Kiara quickly ran forward to help her brother, Fulai and Bunga up, they saw Spike grinning smugly with smokes coming out of his nostrils. "Thanks," Kian thanked. "Don't mention it," replied the dragon. "The name's Spike. I'm Kiara's best friend." "You must be Kian, the leader of the Lion Guard." "It's a pleasure to meet you, Spike." Kian smiled. "Once this is over, We will talk more. Definitely. Spike agreed. He and Kiara ran together as Kian and his friends resumed their battle. But before they can run to safety, shadowy tendrils surrounded them. Sombra appeared before them with fury and hatred in his sinister green eyes. Did you really think you could both escape me that easily? I am the King of Darkness. Napani flees from Sombra. We're not afraid of you, Sombra. No matter how many times you attempt to conquer Equestria, we will always triumph in every step of the way. Spike bravely defied. Kiara smiled at him after hearing his courageous words. If you want to get to Kiara and her friends, you will have to go through me first. As you wish, Sombra growled. He shot beams of dark magic at Spike. He dodged every one of the beams before he breathed fire on him. Sombra screamed in pain from the flames torching his shadowy frame. He grabbed Kiara and ran across the road while both armies were still in battle. Mufasa and Scar glared at each other. Brother and brother once again met face to face ever since Scar killed Mufasa during the wildebeest stampede years ago. Seeing his evil murderous brother once again, the righteous lion made no move except disapprovingly glare at him. Scar, your reign of evil must come to an end. Neither you nor your army shall prevail. Don't you dare patronize me, Mufasa. Scar snapped. You always preached about unity and strength, but never the things that go my way. You were nothing more than a complete waste of a king. Your insults mean nothing to me, Scar. I am asking you only once to leave this peaceful world of the ponies and the Pride Lands for good, Mufasa demanded, before his cloudy face darkened with his righteous indignation. If not, I will be forced to rely on less civil methods of surrender. You dare threaten me? Scar shrieked, his flames brightening up by his wrath. I have killed you before in life, and I will gladly disintegrate you with my flames. He suddenly breathed fire shots at Mufasa, thinking ahead of him. He disappeared before the fiery blasts could even touch him. He reappeared above Scar and opened his eyes wide open to allow tiny drops of water to pour on Scar. The drops fell on Scar, which greatly terrified him. He winced in pain as the dewdrops touched him. Then a slightly big abundance of rain fell on his fiery head from Mufasa. I have wept for you, my brother. I wept over the fact that you allowed your pride and arrogance to cloud your judgment. Had you simply been humble and kind in life, you would not have suffered this predicament. You lie. Scar screamed. Those sentiments made you so soft and weak. I have always been greater than you. I will never be stopped. He then breathed fire on Mufasa's face. Mufasa winced from the fire and flew back from his enraged brother. Scar morphed himself into his grown body made of fire. He was no longer just a head. Mufasa did likewise. Scar then generated flame-like spears and launched them toward Mufasa. The latter also generated spears but made out of pure light. He sliced through the fiery spears with the spears of light and charged toward Scar. He smashed Scar on the ground and pinned him there. Stand down now, Scar. Mufasa calmly yet sternly commanded. No. You stand down. Scar shot back. He slashed Mufasa in the face and pushed him back. Roaring in rage, he tackled Mufasa and bit on his throat. Mufasa then kicked his nemesis off him and slashed him more with his claws, although made of misty water. The more he touched him with water, the more pain Scar felt. The latter breathed more fire on him to force him back. Once I defeat you, all of the Pride Lands shall know forevermore who is their rightful king. Scar boasted. And there is nothing you can do to stop me. Then, you leave me no choice, brother, Mufasa solemnly spoke. He slowly arose in the air and focused his eyes on Scar. His eyes beamed with light which summoned all the kings of the past amongst the dark clouds. The Lion Kings drew close together and gently blew into the air. Then a heavy rain poured on Scar. He screamed in absolute agony. No, no, no. You can't do this. Not me. Not me. Scar's voice died down as his fiery body decreased in size, then became extinguished. The most evil villain of the Pride Lands was defeated forever. Ushuri looked on in horror as his beloved master was extinguished before his very eyes. He looked around him to see all his comrades, including Janja and his hyenas, fall on the ground defeated by Simba's army. He tried to slither away until he met Mufasa's gazing, cloudy yet shining eyes. He backed away in fear as he beheld the great lion of the Pride Lands. "You shall never bother the inhabitants of this planet, Ushuri. I hereby send you back, to the outlands where you belong." Mufasa then roared mightily, which sent the evil snake and his allies all the way to the sky, where a portal was opened for them. It closed as soon as they entered in. All the fires that rampaged in the Pride Lands were extinguished as well once rain poured on them. King Sombra faced Spike again with rage in his eyes. He continued blasting him again before Spike effortlessly dodged them all while breathing fire on his shadowy tendrils. The villain morphed into a giant ball with spikes and rolled toward him. "Man, I wish I got wings." "Oh well. I guess I could improvise," said Spike. He ran as fast as he could until he swiftly made a U-turn around the evil unicorn. The latter morphed from a spiked ball into a shadowy hawk. He angrily screeched in pursuit of his dangerous prey. "Hey, Spike! Give me a paw here." Kiara waved. He gladly assisted her by grabbing her paw to let her jump from his back. She gave a soft roar, although not fully mature enough, and landed on Sombra's back. She scratched his feathers off and bit his left wing. He screeched in pain. He crashed down on the ground after the daring cub jumped right down onto Spike's arms. The villain returned back into his original form and fiercely glared at the dynamic duo. "You have been a thorn on my side ever since I first returned here, dragon. You will regret ever challenging me." "Oh yeah? How do you like this for a challenge?" Spike smirked. He jumped in the air and landed right on Sombra's head. The latter vainly attempted to get him off him. "Get off me. I will tear you apart, you annoying little pest. I am King Sombra." Sombra threatened. However, Spike took a hold of his horn and grinned at the now trembling king. "And I am Spike." Then he yanked his horn out of his head and burned it to dust and ashes. Sombra then twitched out of control in front of the castle. Bright shining rays of light started to crack his shadowy form. He bellowed in fury and defeat as he exploded once again. All the shadows vanished into thin air as soon as he was destroyed forever. Spike landed safely on the ground. He witnessed the sun fully shining in the blue sky again as the dark clouds were pushed back. All the heroes cheered in celebration of their victory moments before they gathered around Spike with warm smiles on their faces. "You did it, Spike. You defeated Sombra." Kiara shouted, hugging Spike graciously. He was surprised at first until he hugged her back. He then noticed the lion guard coming to them with grateful looks. "Hooray for Spike!" Bunga cheered. "Hooray," they all said. Epilogue: The Pony Guard. Simba and Nala ran forward and affectionately hugged their lost daughter. They had tears of joy as they finally reunited with their dear Kiara. "You are okay? We missed you so much, dear." Nala wept. "We thought we had lost you forever," said Simba, bringing her closer to his chest. "I am so happy you are alive and well." "I miss you too, Mom and Dad," cried Kiara, wiping off her tears from her eyes. "I knew for sure you were both all right. But I have a great friend of mine you should thank." She motioned Spike to come to them with the wave of her paws. Simba and Nala smiled brightly at her guardian and friend. "You must be Spike, I presume?" Simba asked. "Indeed I am, Your Majesty." Spike confirmed, bowing reverently before the Lion King and Queen. "It is a high honor to meet you both." "Likewise," nodded Nala. "For what we have witnessed, you not only saved the city of yours and destroyed this King Sombra but also saved our daughter from mortal peril. For that, we deeply thank you." She and Simba slightly bowed in gratitude before the heroic dragon. The latter blushed in embarrassment from the high praise. Nah, it was nothing. I just do my best to help my friends, even new ones. Spike smiled. The lion guard smiled at him as well. Thank you so much for your help, Spike. We couldn't have stopped those guys without you. Kian thanked. I'm also happy to see how you've been protecting my sister. Sister? Really? Spike asked. Yep. He's my brother, smiled Kiara. Once you get to know him, you'll like him very much. I think you two would be great pals. Kian and Spike looked at each other until they chuckled together. Well, seeing how much he has done for us, I think you're correct, sis. Kian agreed. This is amazing, shouted Timon. He jumped on Spike's head and gazed all over his face. A nice little guy who breathed fire at that scary dude. You don't see that every day in the Pride Lands. Tell me about it. Pumbaa agreed. Say, what kind of a creature are you? That fire looked dazzling. I'm a baby dragon. Too bad there aren't many dragons in Equestria who are like me, Spike replied, frowning a bit. A dragon, huh? Timon said. We should have more creatures like you in the Pride Lands. Well, as long as you don't accidentally start any wildfires, of course. Hee hee. Mufasa then stood before Spike with a warm smile on his visage. Spike the dragon, you have done well this day. It pleases me to see another brave young soul who isn't afraid to defend himself and protect his friends from his enemies. You have saved and protected my dear granddaughter from great danger. I am honored to say that I am very proud of you. As a reward for your bravery and valor, I now assign you as the new member of the Lion Guard. A ray of light surrounded Spike, which somewhat startled him. It entered his right shoulder and formed a Lion Guard insignia on that same spot. Spike gazed at it with surprise and admiration. I'm the new member of this Lion Guard. Yes, Spike. I know you have your own duties to fulfill in this world, but whenever you require assistance from your new friends, call on me and I shall gladly bring you to Pride Rock, said Mufasa. He then opened the portal that led their way home to the Pride Lands. Farewell. Spike the dragon, he finished. He ascended to the sky and vanished into thin air. As the other animals waved their goodbyes to Spike and entered the portal, the Lion Guard and Kiara had their last talk with him. So, this is where we say goodbye? Kiara asked. I guess so, but I'll still see you again, right? Spike asked. Of course. Whenever you need any help in facing a new villain or any other threat, you know who to call on. Kian smirked. He then gave Spike a hug. Welcome to the Lion Guard, Spike. Then the rest joined into a group hug. As they welcomed Spike into the Lion Guard, they turned to leave with their family. However, Kiara lingered for just one moment as she looked at Spike. I'll never forget the times we had together and the friends you introduced me to, said Kiara. I'll always consider you as the best friend I have ever had. Thank you, Spike. You're really awesome. She hugged Spike again. Spike hugged her back and stayed like that for a few seconds. They broke the hug before the Princess of the Pride Lands entered into the portal with her friends and brother. It closed up and disappeared. Sigh, the Lion Guard, that's just 20% cooler, as Rainbow Dash would say, said Spike. I help ponies whenever I can and protect those in need of aid. So, I can call myself the Pony Guard. Suddenly, the main six arrived in the Crystal Empire with crystal guards trotting with them in haste. Spike, there you are. I've been looking all over for you and Kiara. Twilight yelled. I've also heard a massive commotion about Sombra returning. What happened? Are you all right? Where's Kiara? Spike chuckled at Twilight's freakout and simply stood there smugly. Don't worry, Twilight. It's all taken care of. Spike. What's with that strange symbol on your shoulder? Rarity asked. I'll explain it to you on the way home. Besides, I have gotten some good backup, said Spike. Mufasa's face was shown in the clouds and winked at Spike. The end.
That's all, Zipsters! Like and subscribe.